Welcome to the Life from Learning podcast with your host, Justin Kester.
Yes, finally the day has arrived. You guys have no idea how excited I am to be starting my podcast entitled Life from Learning. Before I get into the content today, I thought I'd give you a little bit more information about myself and why I have decided to start this podcast. My name is Justin Kester, and I am an IT professional. I have been in the IT field for over 20 years. I started as a software developer and moved my way up, leading small teams and eventually large enterprise teams. I also have a daughter who has a rare disease called spinal muscular atrophy. And so, between my professional life and my personal life, I believe I have a lot to share, a lot of life lessons, a lot of things that I've learned both professionally and personally. And I was thinking about ways that I could impart my knowledge to everyone. And so I did a lot of research. I actually was obviously listening to podcasts on my way into work and thought, hey, that's a great idea, a great way to do that. And so it became a bucket list item of mine. Spent lots of months researching, watching YouTube channels, talking to people who are doing podcasts so I could learn what do I need, like microphones and cameras, and just basically learning how do I do the things I need to do in order to be able to actually set up appropriately to be able to provide great content in the form of a podcast. And so here we are, finally here to be able to share with you. So you're going to learn a lot more about me along the way as we do these different episodes, and would love to hear suggestions, ideas, comments from you as well, as far as like things that you'd like me to talk about. I have plans on bringing guests onto the podcast as well. I have a couple of people already in mind, and they have some really great stories that they can share with you. So generally, I'm going to try to keep these episodes to, maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so in length. Sometimes they might be a little bit longer, especially when I do some bonus content, but I'll get more into that later. So let's go ahead and get into what episode 1 is all about. So the content for episode 1, I'm going to focus in on a concept called disagree and commit. It's a very simple concept, but not a lot of teams in the work environment and not a lot of families in the home environment embrace or even know about this concept. This concept was introduced to me very early in my career, and it has stuck with me. It is something that I have learned to do myself, and it is also something that I now instill as a critical knowledge item for the teams that I lead. So, what is disagree and commit? So it's a simple concept that you should apply when you're facing a critical decision or basically a critical point in your project or a critical item that's in the home setting that needs to be able to move forward successfully. And so let me give you an example from the work world. So let's say you had a team of maybe 7 or 8 people, and your team was set up to basically do a design for some product that your company is getting ready to make and make available to the public. And so you get these 7 or 8 people into a room, and the idea here is that you're trying to make some critical decisions related to the design of the product. And so, as you're aware, right, 7 or 8 people are going to have 7 or 8 different ideas. They have different viewpoints, different ways that they want to approach the design, different ideas, right? And so imagine it can be very difficult to be able to walk away from the meeting unified in approach. And so with my teams, I early on instill the concept of disagree and commit. So what I tell them is that it is totally fine. It is a safe environment for you to walk into this meeting and to be able to share your ideas. However, at the end of the meeting, we need to be unified as a team on the approach so that everyone is working the same direction and that everyone has the same attitude about the work. And so this can be very difficult because of all the different ideas. So what I tell my team is, look, I'm not telling you it's not a safe environment. I want you to share. I want you to provide your ideas. However, at the end, we need to be unified. And so at the end of the meeting, if we decide to move forward with an idea that isn't aligned with what your thought was, I need you to say out loud, look guys, I've provided my ideas. I really don't agree with the approach. However, in the spirit of trying to get this project out the door, in the spirit of trying to be a team player, in the spirit of trying to put my best foot forward, I'm going to disagree, but I'm going to commit to the solution. So again, I'm sure you could make a parallel in the personal world. Let's say you're having an argument or a discussion at home about about like a very simple topic that you might have in your home, and not everyone agrees. Maybe mom and dad are not aligned, or maybe the parents are aligned but the children are not. Using the concept of disagree and commit can also be very helpful to tackle some of those things that you have in the home setting. So it's a great concept. It's not just a professional concept. The other thing I was going to tell you is that this is not just an idea that I've come up with. Some of the best entrepreneurs out there also have talked about this idea. In fact, I have a quote here from Jeff Bezos from Amazon. He actually wrote a letter to the shareholders, and in it, he actually talked about disagree and commit. So I'm going to go ahead and just read a little bit from that for you guys. He basically refers to disagree and commit as three powerful words. And he says, this phrase will save a lot of time. If you have a conviction on a particular direction, even though there's no consensus, it's helpful to say, look, I know we disagree, but will you gamble with me on this? Disagree and commit. So even the most successful of entrepreneurs are instilling this particular concept with their teams. So down in the comments, what I will do is I will actually give you a couple of links. I have a couple of articles that talk about disagree and commit. I'll share the one from Jeff Bezos, and then also I will also share the one on Andy Grove, who was the CEO of Intel. He also talks about the concept of disagree and commit and how it's been successful for his teams. I will also put some links down there for other material that I also used when I was trying to finish up the research for this particular content for this episode. Again, I would love to hear from you guys. I am sure I am probably not speaking right. I am using a lot of pause words. I will work on that. But I didn't want to continue to be doing perfection and delaying the content that I wanted to provide to you, because I think the content itself is actually more important than being, all professional and everything like that. So would love to have you provide comments to me. You can send me an email at lifefromlearning@gmail.com. I also put a link to my Patreon account, so you can also reach out to me there. If you want to support me, that would be great. Not obligated at all. Just putting it out there because I'm planning on actually providing some special surprises, extra content, and some very special things for those of you who support me on this journey. I'm not looking to make $1 million on this. I'm just looking to share my content and to be able to provide the equipment and purchase the platforms that I need to do in order to be able to provide this content to you. So again, I'm totally open to talking about topics and things that are near and dear to you that you would like me to talk more about. I have plans in the future of having a live session with some select folks where we can actually have an open forum and talk about things, not just you listening to me, but also having maybe a panel of people. I'm planning on having some guests on the show that will also share some topics with you. All these topics are not going to be also just professionally geared. There's going to be a lot of personal as well. I plan on sharing a lot of things related to the things that I've learned personally, things that my wife and my family have learned personally as we have taken a journey with the disease that my younger daughter has called spinal muscular atrophy. And there's a lot of soul searching, a lot of great personal things that I would love to share with you on that as well. So I've got a lot of great content lined up for that as well. At any rate, I hope you hang with me. I promise these will get more polished. I'm planning on getting a green screen to make things look a little bit better if you're watching this on video, not just audio. But at any rate, I'm super excited. I hope this resonates with you. If you have any questions about Disagree and Commit, put them in the comments. Email me. Would love to talk to you further about it. And with that, I'm going to close this episode, and I'll see you in episode 2.